Okay, let's get started in that case. So, I suppose it makes sense that the first thing we really need to cover is what is Paym, and hopefully when I click my mouse, we'll move on to that slide. Yeah, so you can see in front of you now. Really, the best thing about Paym, I think, is its simplicity. So it's designed as a simple, secure way to send and receive payments directly to a current account, which is an important part. So this goes straight into your bank account. But the really key feature of it is that it's using just a mobile number. So rather than someone needing to know your sort code or account number, rather than you having to give your sort code and account number out, because we know that a lot of people consider that to be private information and don't want to share that, all you need to do is give the person who you want to pay you your own mobile number. And I know that in this day and age, a mobile is absolutely crucial in running any small business. It's crucial in running your social life as well. I mean, it's actually just something that everyone has now, and this is really about making the most of that, and using it as a much simpler way of getting money into your bank account. So another little key feature that's worth pointing out just at the outset, we will run through in a bit more detail exactly how it works. But another great little feature that you wouldn't get with other types of payment is that the person who is paying, they get to see the name of the organization or the person they're paying before they press confirm. So just as an example, if they accidentally typed in the wrong phone number, and the name came up as John Smith, and they thought, well, hang on a second, I don't want to pay John Smith, I want to pay someone else, then they get the chance to check that. So that isn't something you would get with internet banking, and actually that's another little bonus of the service. So we'll move on. We'll just run through the benefits in a little bit more detail. So again, just to reiterate, you never have to give out your sort code and account number. Something in there, that slide that you'll notice, you do have to register for the service, and we'll talk through a little bit of how that happens. The other thing to say is that it's offered by 17 banks and building societies at the minute, which doesn't sound like a lot, but actually that covers well over 95% of current accounts in the UK. And for you guys as well, I mean, obviously because it's a mobile service, one of the great things about it is that you can make and receive payments when you're on the go. It really is designed around the mobile, so there's no need to, as we've all done this evening, to log onto a computer. It's all managed through mobile. This slide actually is meant to be a little video, but it didn't work, so I have queued it up elsewhere. Actually, this is something that we put together when we launched the service. I thought I'd just play it for you because it's a bit of fun. It shows you one of the use cases we think of it. So it's some of you I'm sure will have children. This is the begging student who is asking for repayment by their parents, and we're out on the road as well. So I'm sure none of you are using a motorbike and sidecar, but that features in the video too. So I'll just play that now. So of course, at its heart, this is all about getting paid. And it's very important to all of us that we do. As much passion as you may have for your job, of course you need to get paid. So this is about making it easier. And certainly the feedback we've had is that not just driving instructors, but small business people of all sorts, actually the hassle of chasing money is something that can really affect them, both in terms of the time people have to spend to get money in, but also obviously cash flow. So Paym, in a way, what it should do, if your students have got it, and we'll get on to how you need to register for it, but as long as they've got it, then it removes excuses in a way. Almost everyone has a smartphone these days. And most people, over 15 million people in the UK now, use a mobile banking app. So what Paym does is if they owe you that kind of, I'm not sure how much a driving lesson goes for these days, truthfully, but if they owe you for your lesson, rather than saying I'll pay you later, rather than you having to take them to a cash point, they can do it quickly and simply using their existing mobile banking app. So you don't need to download anything new as long as you've got mobile banking set up with your bank, and your student doesn't either. So it really is about taking the hassle out of things. And yeah, we just want to explain as much as we can about it so that hopefully it's something you find useful. So, of course, important to say which banks and building societies accept Paym. I'll just run through the full list. All of this information is also on our website at paym.co.uk, and I know that the Driving Instructors Association have some info on their websites too. But it's over 40 million customers, over 9 out of 10 current accounts, as I said, and it covers Bank of Scotland, Barclays, Clydesdale Bank, Cumberland Building Society, Danske Bank, First Direct, Halifax, HSBC, Isle of Man Bank, Lloyds, Nationwide, NatWest, Santander, TSB, Ulster Bank, and Yorkshire Bank. So all of those can both send and receive Paym payments. So hopefully you're all with one of those banks, and we should be able to explain how you get it all set up. So I'll move on to that. Now, like as I mentioned just a minute ago, we have done some research around how this works for small businesses in particular, and we did a survey with people, and actually people have good intentions when it comes to paying, especially when it comes to smaller businesses. So 86% of people agree that paying on time is important, and you know, actually what stops people a lot of the time, and in this day and age I think people do carry less cash. Checks are certainly not as popular as they once were. What sometimes stops people is not having the money on them. So we think Paym is a really good solution to that. And again, what I would imagine a lot of your customers to be are going to be younger people, I would assume. So young people are less likely still to have cash on them, and this came through in our survey. More than half of 18 to 34-year-olds we spoke to said that they've had to do the dash for cash, we call it. So they've had to run off to the cash machine because they haven't had enough money to pay someone there and then. Again, Paym just takes that out of the equation for you. But it does go across generations as well. It's not as common for older people to not have cash on them, but 1 in 3 over 55s also say that they've had to make the dash for cash in the last year. So it is something that is fairly widespread. We're going to get into the meat and the drink, I guess, of the presentation now. So actually to talk you through how Paym works. So the first thing you need to do is to register your mobile number. And you do that with your bank or building society. So you do it directly with them. Now, again, the Paym website is a really good starting point for this, because from there we have links to all of the banks and building societies that offer the service, and you can click through and see exactly how to register with your bank. There are some slight differences in there, so it is worth looking and seeing exactly how you do it with your bank. But generally speaking, you will do it through your mobile banking app, or you can also do it through online banking with some banks as well. And it's really simple. Literally, it is entering your mobile number. Obviously, your bank knows what your bank account number is. They will check that you've entered the details correctly, and then they will link that mobile number to your bank account. So we'll move on to the next slide where we explain it in a bit more detail. So just to set out what these slides are, they cover how Paym works, both from the point of view of the person who's receiving the money, and you'll see on the slides that there's a little icon there with the girl who's got the pound coming out of her phone. So in this instance, the receiving bit will hopefully be the bit that applies to you. This is about getting paid for you guys. we do also in the steps run through how you send money using Paym as well. So I'll just cover those off now. So like I say, the first thing you need to do is register with your bank building society and tell them the account you want to link your number to. Now, you can only link your phone number to one account. So, for example, if you had two accounts with one bank, perhaps a personal account and a joint account, you can only assign your mobile number to one of those, and then all of the payments that you receive to that mobile number will go to the account you've linked to. I hope that's clear. Once you've done that, it's instant actually. So as soon as you have made that link, anyone else who has Paym will be able to pay directly into your account using just your mobile number. So no sort code and account number is needed at all. The thing that happens behind the scenes is essentially the payment is processed in the same way that an online banking payment would be. So it's faster payments is the system that is used, and that does mean that the vast majority of payments arrive in seconds. Sometimes they can take slightly longer, but as I say, you know, the vast majority will be in seconds. They certainly shouldn't take any longer than 2 hours. So we'll move on to the next slide, talk through the next step. So as I say, from the point of view of the sender, so you've set your Paym up, you're ready to receive money. The sender, let's put ourselves in the situation of being in the car. You need payment for the next block of lessons. So what will happen is your student will dip into their log into their mobile banking first, I should say. Then once they're in there, and that will be their standard banking app, so they don't need to download anything unusual. As long as they're with a bank or building society that offers Paym, they just log into their mobile banking as they would normally. From there, they will select the Paym option, and they can either type in your mobile number directly, or they will be able to select your mobile number from their contacts. So just go from inside their mobile banking app, pull out your contact details, and select the amount of money they want to pay. They can also enter a reference, again, very similar to how online banking works, but they could put in a reference for the block of lessons they're paying for or whatever. Now, what happens behind the scenes at this point is quite interesting. So their mobile banking app will send a message to the central Paym database and say, is the mobile number that I have just entered registered with you? And assuming the answer is yes, because you've registered, they will get a message sent back to their app that displays the name of the recipient's account. So all being well, that recipient's account will be ABC driving instructors or whatever your account is registered in. So it could be, if you're running your business through your personal account, it could just be your name. If you're running it through a business account, it will be the name of the business that's registered. Now, that's an important extra step, because it gives the person who's sending the money that little bit of extra confidence that it's going to the right place. So, you know, obviously, if they're intending to pay ABC driving instructors and a different name comes up, they'll know that they've entered the number wrong or something that hasn't gone right, and they will be able to just go no further and pay in a different way. So that is an extra benefit that you do get with Paym when you send a payment. I've covered this already, haven't I? So like I say, you do get to check the name of the person who you're sending to. Now, again, the sender, once they've pressed confirm, the payment will go off behind the scenes, and the person who is sending the payment will receive confirmation straight away that that payment has gone. So the money will leave their account, and they can be sure that the money is on its way. From the receiver's point of view, the money will appear in your account as soon as possible. Now, like I say, the vast majority will be in seconds. It can occasionally take longer, and that will depend on who you bank with, and sometimes there are fraud checks and things of that nature that happen behind the scenes. But by and large, you will have the money land in your account immediately. One of the things that all of the banks and building societies that offer Paym do now is they will send a notification to the person who receives the money. So I'll use the example of my own bank. I bank with First Direct, and as soon as someone sends me money using Paym, I get a text message from First Direct straight away saying, you have received a Paym payment, please log into your online, your mobile banking app to see who it's from. So you can go in there straight away, check that you've received the correct amount and see who it's from. It will appear in a similar way to any other payment that goes into your account. So it'll appear on your statement and all of those things. Again, a benefit of Paym as opposed to some other sort of card-based things, PayPal, things of that nature, is that this is all done through your standard mobile banking app. So you get the same security you're used to, the same password protection, all of those things. You don't have to download anything that you wouldn't have anyway. So it really is all designed around being as simple as possible. Now, I know that some of you have been in touch in advance of the webinar tonight with a few questions. So I've got those as well. I'm going to run through a couple of sort of standard questions, common ones that we get, and I'll come to the questions that you've sent in at the end. I know that Amy's kind of keeping in touch on the chat and everything as well, so certainly I'll be able to cover any questions you've had as I've run through the presentation as well. But like I say, I'll just quickly crack on with the kind of the common questions that we get. So the main thing, and completely understandably, I am exactly the same. The main thing that people worry about when it comes to any sort of payment is how safe and secure it is. And Paym is absolutely designed with that in mind. So the first thing to say is that this is a service that is established by, as I've said at the start, 17 banks and building societies. So the security is absolutely paramount, and that is why it's all run from within your standard apps. So there is nothing new that you need to download. Your details aren't passed to any third party. Behind the scenes, all of the data in terms of your mobile number, all of that is held securely. It's fully protected by data protection laws. None of your information is ever used for anything other than receiving payments. You're not going to start getting marketing messages or anything like that as a result for signing up. It is simply a way to get money into your account. This is another common question. I think one that's particularly relevant to small businesses. So can I register more than one mobile number? The answer is yes. So if you were running a business where you had several of you who were out giving lessons, but all of the money was to be received and reconciled into the same account, that is entirely possible. So you can definitely register more than one number per account. You could have several mobile numbers all receiving payments into the same place. The flip side is that if you have just one mobile number and you use that for your personal life as well as your business, you can only link that mobile number to one bank account. So when you register, you will need to decide, okay, I want to receive payments into my personal account. Once you make that decision, your number will be linked to that account. Conversely, you could decide, okay, it will be more useful for me to link my mobile number to my business account. Again, you would only receive payments into that business account once you've made that decision. Having said that, once you have registered, you are able to change the account that you link your mobile number to once it's up and running. So if you decided after a few months, well, actually, it's more useful for me to get this to my personal account, you are able to change over. So it's not set in stone for all time, but you can only link it to one account at a time. how much can people send with Paym? So this applies to everyone, but obviously we're thinking about your students and receiving money in. So every single bank and building society that offers this will let you send at least £250 a day. So no matter who you're with, or who your students are with, I should say, all of them will be able to send you at least £250 a day. Now, the slight caveat here is that some banks and building societies will let their customers send more than that, but that does vary. So you can be certain that you'll be able to get £250 a day. It may be that you could receive more per payment, but your student would need to check that themselves with their own bank or building society. The flip side is that you can receive as much money as you want, which is obviously good news. So there is no limit on the amount you can receive per day. So if you were taking in lots of block bookings from lots of students, the £250 limit is immaterial. All of them would be able to pay you, and all of those payments would go into your account at the same speed that you're used to with your online banking. So that's that. What happens if students get my number wrong? Now, I think I've covered this a little bit previously, but I'll just reiterate it. So there is an extra step with Paym that you don't get elsewhere. So in the process of sending you a payment, your student will be able to check the name of the account they're sending the money to. So all being well, as long as they've selected the right number, they will be able to see that it's ABC driving instructors that they are paying, review that information, check the amount and go, yes, that's correct, and press confirm. If for any reason they pressed confirm without looking, or accidentally sent it, for whatever reason didn't check the name, then they would be in the same situation as if they'd sent an online banking payment to the wrong place. So it is really important to check that name in the process of sending the payment, because if it does go to the wrong account, it's not possible to get the money back, but it can be difficult, because there has to be investigation behind the scenes to the bank has to ensure that the information they're being given is correct to recover the money. So it is important to check the details before you press confirm whenever you're using Paym. But having said that, there is an extra step in there that should really make it much less likely that money goes to the wrong place at all in the first place. Yes, now this is another relevant point, I think, for all of you guys. So the type of account that you have will determine whether or not your bank or building society offers Paym. As I said at the outset, all of the 17 banks and building societies that I mentioned, all of them offer it to their personal account customers. So if you are running your business using your personal account, you will be able to set it up with any of those 17 I mentioned earlier. Not all of them do offer it for small business accounts. So you'll see on this slide here that there is a smaller number that do. So at the moment it's Barclays, Clydesdale Bank, HSBC, Santander and Yorkshire Bank that offer it to their business customers. If this is really important to you, if you're thinking, oh no, this stops me from using it, it's worth speaking to your bank, because they may be able to make arrangements with a personal account for you. Or alternatively, you can always look to switch. I mean, we think Paym is a great service. If you think that this is going to be so important and good for you that you would like to switch, then you would be able to go to one of these banks and access Paym for your business account. Now, this is something that we have developed especially for small business customers, and thanks to our partnership with the Driving Instructors Association. You can see the web address on the slide there, but we've partnered so that you can download all of this content directly from the Driving Instructors association website as well. Now, just to explain what this is, again, this is based on feedback we've had from small businesses. Sometimes people want to get the word out there that they accept payment using Paym, and obviously a great way of doing that is being able to use the logo on marketing materials that that you use with your business. And depending on the type of business, that could be different things, but where we've seen it used typically is on things like business cards. You can actually also download it and use it on your website. So, you know, sometimes the analogy might be you'll see on lots of other websites that people will have logos saying they accept Paym, saying that they accept PayPal, sometimes saying that they accept card payments. So what this allows you to do is to use the Paym logo in the same way, and let your customers know that you do accept payments using Paym. We'll get on to the benefit of why you should do it, because I know that one of the main things that will motivate anyone to use this is how much it costs, and Paym does have some advantages in that respect versus other types of payment. But we'll get on to that in just a second. And I might pause and draw breath there quickly, and just hand over to Amy to see if there's anything I haven't covered. Otherwise, we can get into both the questions that have been sent in beforehand during the week, and also whether any of you have been chipping in using the chat, and whether there's any questions I can answer that have come in during my presentation. So I'll stop there and hand over to Amy.
Great, thanks so much, Neil. That was great. Yeah, I can't believe how easy it is, and I think very relevant for our driving instructors as well, who are, you know, increasingly more reliant on their mobile phones, and we all know how reliant young people are on their phones. So it's like it's a perfect kind of, you know, marriage in that way. Perfect aid to your ADI business. So I've been watching the question bar on the right hand side there, and your questions have been coming in. I noticed some of them have been answered, but I just want to double check everybody is on the same page and understands that. So Ian forwarded a question saying, can I use one number to feed two different accounts and make the pair choose which account the funds go to? So we did cover that. It is totally possible for the other way around, but you're going to have to choose which account you would like that mobile number to.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So hopefully, Ian, that's answered your question, and we're all that's all understood. I'm just going to scroll down now and have a look at what other ones we've got. So another question from Ian: can I track who has paid me other than just a phone number? Neil, would that be part of the ref, or can you actually see that a payment has come through from, you know, little Tommy Jr.?
Yes, it will tell you that. So it will appear on your bank statement in the same way that other payments would. So you do get the name of people who pay you. The same would apply to in your mobile banking app. Again, you will get the name of the account holder that's sent you the payment there, right, as well. One thing that is worth mentioning, and this, again, it varies slightly depending on which bank and building society you're with, but some banks will actually include the name of the person who's paid you and the amount and other details in the confirmation message they send you. So depending on who you're with, I believe off the top of my head that Santander are one that do it. There's a few others as well. Some will give you the name in the text message they send you. Some will just say you've received a payment and you log in to do that to get the greater detail. But either way, you do get that information as part of being paid.
Great. Roger has asked, is the co-op part of the scheme as yet?
Not as yet.
Not currently.
Yeah, so there are discussions behind the scenes with other banks and building societies, and they are able to join, but they aren't at the moment, unfortunately. I think actually of the banks and building societies that aren't part of Paym yet, Co-op probably are one of the bigger ones. But certainly, you know, we're keen to get our services available to as many people as possible. So I wouldn't rule it out in the future.
Yeah, working on it. Great. So
Yes.
Becky hasn't got a question, but she just says, I'm on the Paym website and she loves it and she says it's really simple. So thanks for that,
Oh,
Becky.
good,
I
good.
really like that feedback. Um, and another question from Becky, she says, is there any extra charges at all? Maybe over a certain threshold of money or anything like that. What are those like?
Yes, so that's definitely something that we can cover just now because we didn't get that much into charges in the presentation. Now, um, the easiest way to describe this is that if you're if you're a personal customer, it's completely free to use. So it's very similar to online banking, in that if you log on to your online banking and send a payment to a friend or a business, then that is free for personal customers. It's just standard practice in the UK at the moment. Paym is treated in the same way. So you won't be charged to send a payment and you won't be charged to receive one either. Now, where it does change a little bit is we'll go back to the banks and building societies that offer the business accounts. So, of course, if you are running your business using a business account, then you can be charged for payments. But that would apply to other types of payments as well. So it really will depend on the exact account that you have. Um, those charges aren't set centrally by Paym, so we don't have visibility of them. But typically, it's in the order of at worst a couple of pence transaction. Paym is treated in the same way as other online banking payments. Um, the the advantage that it would have is that typically it can be cheaper than setting up receiving card payments. So, if you aren't processing lots and lots of payments, which is where card payments come into their own a little bit more, the charge per transaction can be high, but if you're taking a lot of transactions, then it works out better. If you're only processing a few, then because it is more akin to the charges you might get for online banking, it usually is better value. So if that applies to you, it's definitely worth looking into. Speak to your bank; they will be able to tell you exactly how much it will cost. It may not cost anything, but they'll be the ones who can give you that information.
Great. Fantastic. Hope that answers your question, Becky. Gregor has asked, can the sender get a receipt once payment has been made?
So that the sender does get a receipt or a confirmation is technically how we would describe it. So when you log into your mobile banking app and say I'm paying ABC driving instructors 50 quid, when you press confirm, you will get confirmation that the payment has been sent, and it will appear on your bank statement as normal. So you'll be able to see how much you've paid, the reference, and who you've paid it to. And when I say it appears on your statement, obviously that can mean that it's on your paper statement if you still get them, or it's in your mobile banking app or online banking. So yeah, you are able to see the payments you've made.
Fantastic. I hope that answers your question, Greg. Steve has asked, can any mobile phone be used? And I suppose to a certain degree, yeah. I imagine most or if not all smartphones can be used. Do you know if there's any kind of limits on that?
Yeah, so the way it works is because it's all managed through your mobile banking app,
Hmm.
it will depend on which types of smartphone your bank offers their mobile banking app on.
Hmm.
So fairly standard is that banks offer apps on iPhone and Android is more or less across the board. Once you get into Windows Phone and BlackBerry and the other smaller ones, some will, some won't. So you'll need to speak to your bank if you're not sure, and they'll be able to let you know. But yeah, you actually that's you need your bank's app to send payments. technically, all you need to receive payments is a mobile number. So as long as you're able to register that with your bank, you will be able to receive payments using Paym.
Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, Steve, if you have a mobile phone that you do banking on currently, you should have no problem then. Um, Another question from Ian. He asked, where MasterCard and Visa do sticky labels, etc., are these available with the Paym logo? I think he's thinking about marketing materials, maybe for his vehicle or to put
Yeah,
in his school. Are those
that's that's,
available to people?
that's a really good question. It isn't something we have at the moment, but actually, I mean, as you can see, not all of the banks that have Pay'em offer it to their small business accounts at the moment, but more are starting to do so. So it's certainly something that we have in mind for kind of the year ahead. We will be doing lots more to try and help small businesses get on board with this, because we as I've said before, we know that it's something that once people get set up with it, they really do find it useful. So not at the moment, but I wouldn't rule it out in future.
Yeah, fantastic. And obviously, if we get many driving schools, wanting to kind of display this more, we could always distribute it via the DIA. It's an easy channel. Once you sign up
That's right. Yeah,
DIA, and we
yeah. So
send those out to
we're
you.
we're really pleased to be working with the DIA on this. So yeah, I mean that would be a good place to kind of keep in touch with how we develop.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. If we do offer those, then I'm sure the DIA will be one of the first to know.
Great, great. Alison has asked, do you have to have a +44 at the beginning of your mobile number, or just +07, etc., etc.? I think she means when you go about registering your mobile phone number. Alison, is that correct? Is it are you looking to register your mobile phone number now? Do you know offhand, Neil, if you need that +44 code or just straight into the normal mobile number?
So you can register any UK mobile number for the service. So the exactly how you input it, I believe most will be looking for the '07. But the way it works is when you're registering for the service, you can input the number. If the if the bank you were putting it in with, if they wanted it as a +44 rather than an '07, you would get a message as part of the registration to let you know that. But as far as I know, you'd put in your '07 number with all of the bank's building societies to register.
Yeah, fantastic. Um, Alison has also asked, can you link to a savings account or just a current or business account? Do you know?
Primarily, this is for your current account, but some savings account, if you could manage it online, some may let you do so. But typically, this is for current accounts and small business accounts.
Okay, great. Thanks. Great. And I'm happy to say that we've answered Alison's question with regards to the mobile phone number there. So another
Excellent.
question just come through from John. He says he already has a mobile number attached to his bank. Is there another step that he needs to do in order to register for Paym then?
Okay. I think this might sort of link to one of the questions we got earlier in the week, and it is one we get asked fairly regularly, actually. So, Ping It might be a name you have heard, which is Barclays' mobile banking app, mobile payment app, um, and Ping It is part of Paym, if that makes sense. So, if you've registered for Ping It, then you will already be part of Paym as well. So what I mean by that is, if you registered for Ping It, and I don't know if everyone can still see my screen. Um, do you know, Amy, if everyone can still
I
see
can,
my screen?
yeah,
Because I
I can
can.
see your cursor
Yeah.
over how to register, so you're all fine on this side.
Okay. Good.
Great.
So if you register with Barclays with Ping It, then that means customers of all of the other banks building societies will be able to pay using your mobile number. So a Bank of Scotland customer will be able to just put in your mobile number, and as far as they're concerned, it might be a Paym payment, but it will go into the Ping It account that you have linked to, if that makes sense. I'm just going to click on the Barclays logo because um, there is, and I'll just show you. So this was what I was talking about earlier on, that there's more information on all of the bank sites. But if we click through to the Barclays site, there is some quite good information in detail on there about Ping It and Paym and what the difference is. But the simplest way of putting it is that Ping It is part of Paym. So I don't know if that was if that answers the question. If it's another bank, I can try and answer, but I'm second guessing that it probably is Ping It that we're talking about.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, great. So Linda, if that covers the question, just let us know. Or if you have another query, just pop it in the question bar there, and we can look into it more for you. Paul has asked how soon or quickly does payment show? So we went through that in the beginning of the presentation. So in a matter of seconds. But he's also asked here within the span of a lesson. Yeah, usually. So he's asked within the span of a lesson. So if we're looking at an hour or 2 hour long lesson, yeah, it should reach your account by then.
Absolutely, yeah. And if for any reason that you were you were worried about the payment, then you can always call your bank and ask, and they will be able to track them for you. I mean, I guess one of the things here is that typically for you, not always I suppose, but it may be that your student is sitting in the passenger seat doing this beside you. So quite often what will happen is you might see them press confirm, and I've done this with colleagues at work, but literally they will press confirm, and within 2 or 3 seconds, very similar to receiving just a text message, my phone will buzz and I'll know that the money's there. So that would be the normal experience.
Great. Roger's got an interesting question. He's asked, and I think you've had this question before, do you foresee Paym eventually replacing checks?
Yeah, that is an interesting one. No, is the really short answer. I mean, I think Paym is probably more likely, if you think about how you use it, it's more likely to be you might have given someone cash and you don't have the cash on you, so you use Paym. Checks, there are still quite a few people that use them. They aren't as popular as they used to be, but typically I would imagine that the typical people who are using checks, definitely not so much young people, but they may be sticking with the check or moving to something else rather than going straight from the checkbook to using their mobile phone. So I don't think that it will replace it, but I think the two will kind of live side by side. It's an extra choice, really.
Yeah, great. John has asked, can you give me the links to download the logos again? So John, to access that, if you go into driving.org, we have a special hosting page just for Paym. It's www.driving.org/Paym. And on there, obviously, it tells you a little bit more about how Paym can help driving instructors, how easy it is to set up. And there's a little button there that says download the Paym mark. And you can download it there. You can download it as a high resolution, so quite a big image or a small image in color and in black and white. So yeah, go ahead and download all those and use them wherever you can. It takes literally 5 seconds to download. Jenny has asked, and I know you've mentioned how Paym is linked to Ping It in that way, but just to clarify for Jenny, she says she's registered for Ping It on one of her accounts. Can she register Paym on another account as well? Can she use both at the same time? Same number, I imagine, Jenny.
No,
yeah.
Yeah. No. In essence, you can't. So basically, because you can only link your mobile number to one account, if you've linked your mobile number to a Ping It account, and then you want to use that mobile number to link to, for example, a Clydesdale bank account, then you would need to move it across. But it's possible to do that, but you just need to decide which account you want your mobile number to point to, basically.
Yeah, thought so. Okay, great. And Ian has asked, he's just registered actually while he's on this webinar. He's just registered
Ah,
Paym, which is great.
excellent.
Thanks. And he just wants to know, is there a way that he can quickly check that it's working? He doesn't want to start, taking payments in during his lesson and it not going through. So is there any way that he can do a quick one? Maybe get somebody to transfer, like a friend to transfer money or something, just to check it out, or is there a little test he can do to make sure all's in place and is linked correctly?
I'm I'm tempted to say that he can send me some money, but I'm only joking.
Yeah, my
I,
mobile number.
actually, actually, you're right. I mean, the way that you can be sure it's working would be to ask someone who you know to send you a payment with it. They could send you a quid or whatever they like. But yeah, if you've gone through the registration process, no matter who it is, and you've had all the confirmation messages to say that it's gone okay, then you will be up and running. So yeah, I don't know if in the chat room you all want to get together and pass a pound round, but you could do that if you want to.
Yeah, fantastic. Great. Thanks for that, Martin. And Becky has also said that she's just registered as well. So that's great. Thanks for that, Becky.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm glad I haven't put anyone off.
Yeah, and great that you can listen to the webinar and do it at the same time. It just shows how easy it is to register for it. So that's great. Multitasking. And Martin has asked, does the learner have to register with Paym to pay me? What do they have to do on their side as a learner, as a student?
Yes, so your student will have to be with a bank or building society that offers it is the first thing. So they will have to be with one of those 17. But um, what I would suggest is, you can say, have you heard of Paym? Have you got Paym? Hopefully they'll say yes. If they don't, then you could say, oh, it's a way of paying using your mobile number, just using your mobile banking app. And it may be that they don't know it's called Paym, but young people these days they'll be straight inside their mobile banking app in a couple of swipes of the finger, I guess. So once you're in there, and once you've done it once, I think actually it really is simple. I mean, I think for me that is the best thing about it. It's not trying to be complicated. It's not trying to do something fancy. You log into your mobile banking app, you choose a mobile number, and you press send, and it really is as simple as that. So, obviously, we would encourage you to kind of to run it past your students, because hopefully, once they try it, they should find it as easy and as useful as you do.
Fantastic, great. So that's it for questions from what I can see. Obviously, still keep on sending them in if you have any follow ups. Did you want to touch on anything else? Then
I'm just looking at the questions we've got in the week actually. So
great.
I think we've covered most of them. One question. So someone asked, how does it differ to Ping It and WorldPay? WorldPay is something different. So that is card payments, which there are ways of getting set up with that, but we think that Paym, because it links straight to your bank account, because it's almost instant, we think that it is an easier way. But yeah, WorldPay is something slightly different in that is card payments that would do that. Someone else asked as well, Ping It has a register of businesses. Does Paym have the same? Actually, we don't. There isn't any plans that we would do that. But again, if you're interested in finding out more about Ping It, I would advise you to click through to the link from our website, because Ping It does do a couple of other things that Paym doesn't. So it will let you receive money to your mobile number, but it does do a few other things as well. So, for instance, the register of businesses and things of that nature. So, if that's something that's interesting to you, then there is definitely a lot more information on the Ping It website where you can find out.
I think where people kind of were wondering why, looking at the importance of having that list of businesses, was they were worried that someone was going to select the wrong business or the wrong mobile number. But as you
Right.
said,
Yeah.
that's not, well, it's not completely impossible, but it's less likely with Paym because
It's highly unlikely. Yeah. I mean, if
so
every single mobile number that registers all of those have a name of the account holder linked to them.
Exactly.
So
So in effect, it
it's
does the same.
impossible to send it without seeing that.
Yeah, exactly. Great. So hopefully, in that regard, Paym is very similar in that respect. Great. Would you like to end with anything else, Neil, or has anyone else got any more questions? Please feel free to fire away. We've got about 5 or 10 more minutes. Um,
I'm happy actually. I feel like I've covered everything we need to. I, unless you're getting any more questions in, I
yeah.
would like to
Um,
just.
sure. Becky has just said it was very useful webinar. Thanks very much. Great, thank you. And Barry has asked, I'm not too au fait with this, but I'm not too sure what kind of payment scheme this is, but he says, is there a difference between fatter payments and Paym? Are you aware of what that is, Neil? Have you heard of that?
Oh, can you spell it?
FATER. Is that right, Barry?
Does he mean faster payments, perhaps?
Yeah, there you go. He's Yeah, sorry. There's a difference between
Yeah.
fast payments, capitalized, and Paym, as they both seem to use mobile.
So, Paym uses faster payments to move the money. So, faster payments is that's like the network that moves the money. Paym is the thing that links your mobile number to your account. So in some respects they're the same, but faster payments, you don't get to see the name of the person who you're paying. So Paym does have a couple of extra features, and obviously, the mobile number and being able to use your app. It's much more mobile focused Paym.
Great. Alison says, many thanks for a very interesting webinar. She'll register for Paym tonight. So great. Thanks,
Excellent.
Alison. Fantastic. And Ian wants to know, is there any leaflets available that he can maybe get sent or possibly even print off to distribute to students as, some more marketing materials? Or should it best be maybe to direct people to the website? What do you think, Neil?
Yeah, I would say for the time being, certainly, it's the website is the best place. We don't have any printed materials at the moment, but there is a bit of watch that space attached to that. So it may be something that we do develop in 2016, and if we do, then certainly the Driving Instructors Association will be one of the first to know. So yeah. It's interesting actually to hear that a couple of people have said that, because yeah, it's certainly something that we are thinking about.
Fantastic. Paul has asked, will it work on my pay as you go or pay as I go phone? I think Paul covered it. It will
Absolutely.
work, definitely, as long as you have a smartphone that has a banking app on that you can do mobile banking on. Am I correct now?
Pay as you go, contract phone, it doesn't make any difference at all. You can use it exactly the same.
Great. Okay. So I'm just going to go through all of them quickly before you end. Steve says.
Oh, actually, I'm looking at the list of questions we got before. There was one I missed, which I'll just cover off quickly.
Go ahead.
So someone asked, is there a customer support line that I can ring if I experience any problems? So any questions you have about individual payments, the place you need to go is your own bank, because they are the ones who are processing the payments on your behalf. So yeah, your bank would be able to help you with any issues you had with Paym. Actually, we're a little bit behind the scenes normally here at Paym, so we don't have any customers directly ourselves. We provide the service to banks, who then provide it to you guys. So yeah, it's your bank that you need to speak to.
Okay, great. Joe says, thanks for a very useful webinar. So does Ian. And Richard joined us a little bit later, I think, but he said this may have been asked, but if you've already registered in the past, is it possible to change your mobile number to a different account?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is, if you speak to the bank that you initially registered with, tell them I say speak to them. You can do it online or on their app. You could bring them as well. But if you deregister with them, then you can move your number across, and all of that happens pretty much instantly. So you could deregister with your bank at sort of 3 minutes to 5, and then change your number to another account by 5 o'clock if you
Perfect.
wanted to.
Great. And Nicolette has asked, does the transaction rely on a good mobile signal to work? I think with most things that are app based, you'd have to have a decent signal. Am I right, Neil? Like
It's
it's
a good question, actually. So it differs slightly if you're sending the payment to if you're receiving it.
all
So
right.
I'll just explain that. So to send a payment, you need internet connection, and that could either be Wi-Fi or just your mobile internet. Um, just the internet connection that you would need to do any other mobile banking. So that's what you need. That's what sends the information off so that you can process the payment. Um, if you are receiving a payment, it doesn't matter if your phone's switched off. You will still get the money at the same time. All that will happen is the next time you turn your phone on, you should have a text message saying that you received the payment in the meantime. But yeah, you don't need reception or anything to receive the payment. It's just to send that you need the internet connection.
Wonderful. And the last question I've got here is from Ian, who says, it's a great session. Thanks to you both. Signed up with ease due to the great presentation. Oh, Ian, that's great. Thanks so much. And thanks for the kind words. And we're glad, we could have been of help. Okay, so Neil, any more from you then? Anything else that you wanted to cover quickly?
I've covered the main of the content, but I'm going to finish with a small victory dance because this is one of my favourite little clips that we put together for the launch. So I'll leave you with this, but that'll be it.
Great.
And that's it. Thank you all very much for your time. I hope you found it useful.
Thanks so much, Neil, for joining us. Really appreciate that. And thanks for sharing that with us. If you have any more questions or you log off this evening and you think, oh, I should have asked that, fear not. We're here. Give us a buzz at the DIA, or you can always drop us an email, help@driving.org, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. Or if we can't personally, we'll hurry off to Neil and ask him and get an answer. But yeah, thanks so much for joining us this evening, and thanks so much to Neil as well. Yeah, good night. See you later.
Thank you.